You're going to arrest the Iranian delegation because they were responsible, that government, for killing 40 to 50,000 of their own well after Gaza. Oh, wait a minute. You're not going to do that because members of your staff were secretly planning to meet with them as a friendly little chat. Mamdani, with that socialist smile and that oozy, unctuous personality, I thought he wouldn't be so stupid to admit that he's an absolute anti-Semite and hates Israel.
New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has reignited controversy by arguing that the ICC's arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should be enforced if he visits the United States. Although Mamdani has since acknowledged that New York City itself lacks the legal authority to make such an arrest, his comments have fueled a national debate over the ICC, U.S. sovereignty, and whether Israel is being singled out in the international arena. Victor Davis Hanson believes this isn't just about Benjamin Netanyahu. He argues it's about whether international law is being applied consistently or whether Israel is being held to a different standard than every other country. Let's hear his arguments.
So let's turn to the International Criminal Court. And Mamdani wants to enforce its laws. In New York City, when Bibi Netanyahu shows up, he says he's going to arrest him because they have a warrant out for Bibi for war crimes and crimes against humanity.
I'm really surprised. I know people are going to be shocked by this, but Mamdani, with that socialist smile and that oozy, unctuous personality, I thought he wouldn't be so stupid to admit that he's an absolute anti-Semite and hates Israel, because any person who listened to his video and read what he wrote, the first question is, okay, you have a policy that anybody that you think in your infinite wisdom committed genocide can't come into your city. He said, you can't come into our city. It's not your city. You're an interloper. You had about 11% of the resident population vote for you, and it's not your city. I'm sorry. You may think it is. You're the mayor for a while, but it's not your city. And then the question everybody has is, though, I know our listeners are saying, well, of course, when the Palestinians come in, because they aided and abetted Hamas in many cases, you're going to arrest them, given October 7th. You're going to arrest the Iranian delegation because they were responsible, that government, for killing 40 to 50,000 of their own well after Gaza. Oh, wait a minute. You're not going to do that because members of your staff were secretly planning to meet with them as a friendly little chat. Are you going to go after the Pakistani government because they have they've killed a lot of people. They also had bin Laden harboring the world's greatest terrorist on their own territory and protected him. Are you going to go after the Chinese government? They've got 1 million people in a re-education, I shouldn't say that, in a labor camp, concentration camp. You're going to go after the Muslim Azerbaijanis because they ethnically cleansed Nagorno-Karabakh. The Armenian, 1,000-year enclave in Azerbaijan? No, you're not going to do any of that because you're an anti-Semite and you only want to focus on Jews. And so he looks, and then I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but most of our listeners aren't a lawyer, but they all know that a mayor in charge of the boroughs of New York can't enforce federal law that says what? What is federal law? What federal law is, take a pause. Mamdani, there is a statute that we've signed on to that says that people who come to the UN that are authentic, genuine diplomats cannot be arrested by the United States. You understand that? They cannot be. Number two, do you really think the International Criminal Court has any jurisdictions? We're not a signee to that court. They have zero jurisdiction. Did you know that the head of the International Criminal Court was just fired for sexual harassment? It's a corrupt organization. Don't you understand that? It has no authority in the United States. You have no authority to interfere with federal law. And I have a feeling that if all of that didn't stop you and you went ahead and you called up the chief of police, she was standing right by him and said, go get NYPD and cut off the Israeli motorcade and we're going to put him in Rikers until we formally charge him. They wouldn't do it. I'm not And so he knows that.
Did you notice that Rubio took the opportunity to say, not only do we everything you said about the International Court, but we want to dismantle the International Criminal Court?
I hope so. I hope they don't have we shouldn't give a dime to the UN. We should get the UN. They always give these platitude speeches, and then their diplomats, for the first and only time in their life, in the case of about 90 countries, come over here and they vote. They vote in the General Assembly on resolutions, half of which until recently were just about condemning Israel. And you think, well, if you don't vote in Somalia, and you don't vote in Egypt, and you don't vote in, I don't know, you don't have a fair vote in Uganda till recently, why would you vote over here? And what would that mean? The first time in your life you'd live it up, and they're always getting caught for not paying parking tickets, speeding, because they have exemption. And they're always giving lectures to us about the global South versus the global North, people of color. I've said that in print twice. Why don't we take the UN? We don't have to fund it. We just say to them, go to take your pick. You could put it in Cambodia. You could put it in Peru. You could put it in Nigeria, and there would be among the people of the world. And you wouldn't have to see those awful Americans anymore. And they won't do it because they won't be, after they make some denunciation of Israel on the floor of the Security Council or the General Assembly, they won't 3 hours later walk down the street to NPR and be told, well, why did you say that speech, Ambassador Kintawata? Well, and that's what they love. They love all the global media. They love the restaurants. They love the hotels. They love the Western lifestyle that they hang out all night at. And then they trash the United States during the day. And it's just so boring. Just go away. You know what I mean? I just say go away.